Donald Trump is panicking today because he was just exposed for being directly tied to a major news scandal. For weeks now, the Trump administration has been trying to bury questions about Trump's so-called border czar, Tom Homan, because he was taking bribes. But now, brand new evidence has surfaced that not only could destroy Tom Homan's career forever, but could also draw a major wedge between Donald Trump and his entire cabinet. So keep watching to uncover today's new disaster for the Trump team, and as always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. So Tom Homan has been having quite a rough couple of weeks, and honestly, I couldn't be happier to see it. He's responsible for Donald Trump's mass deportation plans, and it was Tom Homan himself who encouraged the president to use the military to help ICE agents occupy cities. And now that he has troops backing up his ICE agents, Tom Homan has been going around treating American cities like occupied enemy countries. I mean, just this week, we're getting reports out of Chicago suburbs that ICE agents and National Guardsmen are literally harassing local police officers during their occupation, going so far as to tear gas police officers who are in their way.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says he was verbally attacked by an ICE agent during a protest outside of the immigration processing facility earlier this month. This is the mayor of Broadview just issued a scathing letter to ICE, accusing agents of regularly exposing local police to tear gas.
I've been doing this job a long time now, but I was shocked. I've never been spoken to by a fellow law enforcement officer in such a way.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says on top of requiring 75% of his department's manpower for crowd control outside of the ICE processing facility in the west suburban city, he was personally verbally attacked by ICE agents during a protest.
I'm a leader of a department. I know that my office is looking at me for guidance and leadership, and I had to ensure that, I had to stay calm and not engage in such unprofessional behavior.
Chief Mills says he was walking across a skirmish on September 12th, the day this video was shot. He was called multiple expletives by an ICE agent, calling him a coward, accusing him of neglecting his duties during protests that got physical. Mills also telling the I-Team about an incident earlier this week where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their location. And during the course of that, while trying to gather information, there was pepper spray released while my officers right there. They felt the effects of that pepper spray where it altered their vision. They were coughing, and I was on the phone with them, and they had to leave the area so they can decontaminate themselves.
Tom Homan is not only on a crusade against immigrants, he's actually making every city he occupies less safe with his tactics, including for legitimate law enforcement officers. And while Tom Homan's occupation of American cities is horrific, he says that it's all justified because he's just carrying out the president's will, and the president can do whatever he wants. Seriously, Tom Homan has been actually saying multiple times that he thinks that the president's power to do things like this should have no limits.
The greatest nation on earth.
Is enough for that, or do you think it would need to be longer?
President Trump doesn't have a limitation on his authority to make this country safe again. There's no limitation on that.
Thank you, Mr. Hellman.
After horrible statements like these and the disturbing ICE deportations that we've been seeing, many people were excited to see Homan get exactly what he had coming to him when a shocking new bribery case opened up against him in September. Because just this month, a leaker from the Trump administration told the press that Tom Homan had accepted bribes of up to $50,000 in cash from FBI agents. You see, apparently, the FBI were posing as businessmen, and Tom Homan promised them government access once the second Trump administration started. And just like every other scandal-ridden Republican, Tom Homan immediately denied the accusation and said that everyone was just out to get him.
What is the story with this, and where did it come from?
Well, look, as the Justice Department said, I did nothing criminal, I did nothing illegal, I did nothing wrong. And this is a series of hits against me since the beginning of the year. There's been hit pieces about every week. There was a hit piece on my security detail saying I had 31 security detail. I'm wasting millions of dollars. I had about a quarter of that. I think I had 8 security detail at the time. I had a 4-car caravan. I had 2. Another story about I'm helping certain companies with their contracts. Here's what people need to understand. Day one of the administration, when President Trump asked me to come back and we entered on duty, I met with ethics attorneys, and by law, you're supposed to recuse yourself from any company you had affiliations with before. But I took it a step further. I recused myself from all federal contracts. I won't have any decision making in any federal contract, but people, including this recent case, people are saying, I'm going to line the pockets of people. I signed that declaration. I do not make decisions in any federal contracts. And just so people know, I make about 18% of what I've made in my company to come back and serve my nation. So my family's took a sacrifice. I've taken a sacrifice. I'm back here doing the right thing. The hit pieces keep coming, but I know who's chumming the water. I know who keeps throwing this information out, and the media jumps all over it. And they're going to see some legal actions real soon. I'm working with the legal team. I'm done with it. They can attack me all they want, but we're going to take action.
Tom Homan says that he's trustworthy because he doesn't take government contracts, but you aren't even allowed to do that when you're in an office like this anyway. And regardless of that, we just got some major confirmation that Tom Homan is actually incredibly untrustworthy. Just today, more leaks from the FBI and Department of Justice gave us some new intel on the Homan bribery story, and it's only getting worse. Because apparently, the FBI was testing if Tom Homan would be susceptible to bribery because a former employee of his literally told them that he would be. A former colleague of Homan's predicted that he would totally sell out his office for money, and he was totally right. Just take a look at this.
4 sources familiar with the investigation and a government document reviewed by MSNBC say Homan was not entrapped by undercover FBI agents, as Levitt suggested, but rather that those agents were repeatedly steered to Homan by one of his own associates. Julian Jace Calderas, a former U.S. immigration official who worked under Homan in the Obama administration, allegedly proposed to the agents who were posing as businessmen that Homan could help them win lucrative federal contracts if Donald Trump became president again in exchange for $1 million. Calderas first allegedly proposed the scheme in May 2023 and continued to do so for more than a year until that September 2024 meeting in Dallas where agents allegedly recorded Homan accepting $50,000 in cash. Instead of immediately moving to file charges, those agents waited to see what would happen after Homan joined the Trump administration as the nation's top immigration official. But when Donald Trump won, his DOJ shut the whole investigation down.
That is just insane. I mean, first of all, I cannot believe that the FBI had an entire bribery case on Trump's top deportation official ready to go, but they just didn't get to it in time before Trump was back in office. It's crazy to think that they could have put this guy behind bars before any of these deportations even happened. But what's even more shocking is that the heads of Donald Trump's FBI and Department of Justice shut this investigation down once they were in office. The Trump administration is actively shielding its own people from the law while occupying American cities for the sake of law and order. Can you believe the hypocrisy of that? And one final note, even though Donald Trump isn't watching, I really wonder what he thinks about this whole case. I mean, we just got confirmation that one of his closest allies was willing to sell out government contracts and access to the Trump administration for only $50,000. If I were Donald Trump, I would seriously be wondering how many other Republican officials would turn on me in an instant just for the right price. Comment below your thoughts on this exploding bribery case against Tom Homan, and as always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more.